The next speaker, which I think is always like a really excellent talk. So Steve Korn, who you heard him introduce himself this morning, is going to talk about moving science forward. Steve, take it away. Money. That's right. Take it away.
Hi, everybody. Should we just start? Let's just start. I oversee all the training programs for clinicians. So there are program directors, which I am not, that hold the grants in their portfolios, and they're there to guide the science. What I do is sort of guide the process. And so we look at everything that's going on. This is for, cradle to grave for clinicians. We do it out of our office. So starting in medical school and residency and fellowship, pre-K and K, and then I guess I get my hands off mostly when I get to R1. But we see a lot that goes on. A lot goes on that's good, and a lot goes on that's not good. And so a lot of what I would say to you is a reflection of what we see going on, and what helps, what's important to success, and what's important to lack of success. You can choose your path, which path do you and so I'm going to talk to you about some funding opportunities, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time, because most of you probably know all of this. You can look at the website and see all these mechanisms, and there's no value in my standing up here talking about mechanisms other than some of the issues that are involved. I'm going to show you a lot of data, and I often see that as my job. There's lots of people that run around and talk about how hard it is and how impossible it is to get money in, how hard it is to succeed, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to show you a lot of data to show that things are actually pretty good in the funding. There are other issues that are difficult, but funding is really not the most difficult issues to face. And then the setting yourself up for success, again, gets just back to my preaching about stuff that we see and stuff that we think we should do and shouldn't do, what's necessary. And I apologize if it sounds like preaching. And I also, I have no idea whether that camera's turned on. The cameras kind of make me nervous. Adam's nodding, but be careful what you say. So I'm just going to preface all this by saying, you're going to hear a lot of what's my opinion, and it's not NIH's opinion, and it's not even necessarily NINDS's opinion, and Adam and Robin can disagree with me, and we often disagree about things. But I'm just going to give you my impressions of what we see and what I think about. So I assume most of you in here are heading towards a K. Some of you, does anybody in here have a K? No. Do most of you think you're headed towards a K? You just raise your hands if you think you're headed towards a K. Some of you. Are you? Nothing? R's? R01? U01? Something. All right. A lot of what I'm going to say is focused towards the K, but it really doesn't matter. You need the same thing for everything. But the Ks are there. The reason they exist is to protect your time. You only get $50,000 to spend on research, which is, it's $50,000. It's not chump change, but it's really what it's there is it mandates that you get your time protected. And what you need more than anything is your time. And it mandates 75% of your full-time professional effort. And that's not counted in hours, that's counted in full-time professional effort. So in a 5-day week, we don't expect you to be doing research on your weekends. But in a 5-day week, a half day is 10% of your time. And if you work a 40-hour week, and a half day is 4 hours, then 10% of your time is 4 hours. If you work an 80-hour week, then a half day is 8 hours. It's a half day. A half day is a half day. And a month of your time is 8% of your year. And it's not about whether you're busy or not. It's if you are working in the clinic for a month, that's 8% of your time, period, that is not protected for research. And so we hold very dearly to this notion that you devote 75% of all of your professional effort to your K word research. And that's the way to make it move and get to where you're going. So don't let that protected time be stolen. Pay, salary, and fringe. Different institutes, IC stands for Institute and Center, that's the abbreviation we use. Different institutes will give you a different salary amount, there are different caps. They'll give you different research costs. They're 12 pages long. You have to be a citizen or permanent resident to be eligible for K or K99 is another mechanism that if anybody's interested, talk to, that's 2 years of K, and then if you get a tenure track position, 4 years, 3 years of R00, which is a little R1. You can be anybody. You don't have to be a citizen with that. But there are restrictions on when you're eligible. I have this right here. So, you have to have less than 4 years of research experience since your doctorate, but for example, your clinical work residency doesn't count. If you do a clinical fellowship, that doesn't count. It's 4 years of research experience since you got your degree to be eligible. If you're beyond that, you're not eligible. And this is a nice award. It was designed for PhDs. Clinicians do well when they're appropriate and they apply. They actually have a higher success rate than PhDs, but it's not really relevant for most clinicians. But if you think you are, or if you're not a citizen or a resident, this may be the mechanism. KO2, NINDS is KO2 that is a career development award for independent people. And NINDS uses it differently than any other institute. So there's one FOA, and it has instructions that are largely irrelevant for NINDS. So if you're interested, you need to talk to us. But we use it as a bridge from a mentored K, a KOA or K23, to an R. And what it is when you do what you're supposed to do in your mentored K, and you don't have to have a mentored K, it can be that period of time, however you want it. You've done what you're supposed to do, you have an independent space or your independent world that you're in charge of. But you're not quite ready for it. You don't have the credibility to get it on. We have this mechanism that sort of bridges you to that. And it's for very specific uses. And again, the point of a mentored K is to get you to an R01, but sometimes get to the end of the K and you need something else in terms of career development. So we have this. K24 is a mid-career award. It is for people who are established to have R01 funding or something like that. It's to devote time to mentoring. I'm telling you this because some institutes have it. It pays you to actually mentor other people. NINDS does not use this right now. But, there are other institutes that we admit to. So, if you're doing work in some other institute's mission, this is a good way to get your time paid for to help other people. Before we get back on track, I want to digress a little bit. NINDS started this award for mentorship. We're going to talk a little about mentorship, or a lot about mentorship. Mentorship is key. For all of you, mentorship is key. You need good mentors, you need devoted mentors, you need to be good mentees. And for everybody, nobody does this alone, and good mentors make a huge difference. But good mentorship in terms of the communication, and talk about that is important. But there's not enough of it. And so we decided to create an award really to signify to faculty and to chairs and to deans that we take this really seriously and we're willing to put out good money to reward people for being good mentors and to devoting their time to helping others. And so we have this competition, we named it the Landis Award after story like this. And And people are nominated by current and former trainees as, hey, this was my mentor, this person was great. And then there's sort of a process that we go through. And people get this, and it's divided into, you can see the junior, mid, and senior people, because we didn't think it was fair to have these different levels of people competing against each other. And we've done the junior and mid, we're at the senior level now. And people are nominated, and they write a philosophy of mentoring, they talk to us about what they've done and how they mentor and all of that. And we give an award. And it's really a coveted award, which doesn't surprise us. The people who get it are really proud of it. The chairs are really proud of their people getting it. And I put it in here just to say this is really something you want to be. Just think about how it feels when you have a bunch of your former trainees nominating you for an award because you made a difference in their lives. It's a real good award. We've had several clinician scientists nominated. We've made awards to at least 2, and I say at least 2 because we know 2 of them are practicing clinicians. There have been a couple of other MD PhDs who have gotten awards that it's not clear whether they're practicing clinicians or they're just doing research now. But, not only do clinician scientists get nominated, but they also get chosen. And so keep in mind that, you're not only in there for yourself, but you're in there helping others too. I want to mention the loan repayment program. I would assume all of you in this room would be eligible since this is about clinical trials. And so I assume you're doing clinical trials mostly on people and not on rats. And so and there are restrictions on this loan repayment program, but you want to apply for this. This is a contract mechanism. It's not a grant. And we have money that's congressionally mandated that must be spent on this. And so NINDS supports clinical and pediatric research. Our top priority is for clinicians. And it pays off your debt. No strings attached. You've got to be doing research. But if you get a K award at NINDS, it's 100% guaranteed that you will be awarded this loan repayment. If you are so that's our top priority of people with the Ks. We sort of go down the list again. We have this pile of money that we use for nothing else but this program. And I would say the success rate is in the neighborhood of 50%. But a lot of people ask that just shouldn't get it and are not qualified for it. But you can apply as many times as you want. It's a contract that says I'm doing research and I have debt, and you pay off. And you have to write an application and get chosen. But this is something you want to apply if you're eligible. And you all should be. I want to mention a couple of institutional grants because we've learned from them. And that's really the reason I want to mention them. We have these 2 national programs. One's for pediatric neurologists, one's for neurosurgeons. They're K-12s. I would imagine, I guess it's possible that if you're a pediatric neurologist or a neurosurgeon, you could be eligible for it, but you might not be. But really, I want to talk to you about it because of local program. And so, this is for pediatric neurologists coming out of residency that want to get into research and they can't quite get to a K yet. So this sort of gets them going to get to a K. Neurosurgeons, the same thing. They have their own problems with getting to a K. We're creating a program to address those problems and get them to a K or more. There are lots of other K-12s around. I'm sure you're all familiar with CTSAs, the Schedule IIs. They're usually used for populations. When NIH uses a K-12, they're used for populations, people in emergency medicine, people in pediatric critical care. It's a people thing. There's a population of people that need help getting to an individual award. There are lots of them. But the one fundamental outcome of all of them is to get to a K. And, I'll use that. It's fine to get to an R. It's fine to get to a U. The K is the usual starting grade, but you can get to an R or a U or anything else. That's terrific. But you always should have in mind, you've got to get to funding, and you know that, right? The the day will come where you're dead in the water if you don't have funding. Hopefully you're in supportive institutions and departments and they're giving you the time to get there. But the day's going to come when you get there. And so you really ought to think about your projects and the way you're building your career as I need to get to them. T32s, again, we have T32s for clinicians all over NIH, and lots of programs don't look at it this way, but the way we look at it is if you're a clinician on a T32 not trying to get to funding, what are you doing there? Because you're going to be dead in the water without it. So you're not just hanging out doing some research. And then what? Right? So always have your eyes on it. Again, it's the research that's the important thing. And I really want to stress that money will follow good research. You will get funding if you are doing good research and you're doing it well, and you're doing important research. You're not chasing money, you're chasing research. But you ought to have in mind, is this research something that is going to get funding? You need to do something important, especially as clinicians. I'll throw this in, right? If you're not doing something important, why are you doing it? Right? There's a lot of PhDs doing science, and it's I don't want to say it's not important, but it's kind of hard to see why they're doing it. You should never, as a clinician, be doing research and be wondering, why am I doing this? What's the point? Then you're just wasting your time. All right, so I want to talk about a couple of examples and what we've learned from this. The R25, that's a program for residents and fellows. This neurosurgery K-12, and we set them up the same way. They're institutional awards. The reason we made them institutions is for oversight. Somebody's looking to make sure something good happens and something bad doesn't happen. It funds you during residency. If you get funded during residency, you get 2 years of guaranteed funding, fellowship. The mandate's to get to a K award. We don't care about accomplishments, awards, Nobel Prizes, publications. We don't care about any of that stuff. Get some money. That's what we care about. That's how their value is measured. You can see the number of people that have been supported, a lot of people have been supported so far. The design, I said, is institutional for oversight. The residents have to prepare the research transition plan. Now, I know you probably have to prepare something to get into this, right? That's the key to it all, right? You can't go in to something not knowing what you want to do. You need to come up with a plan. Here's what I want to do, and here's how it's going to work. And that plan may change. That plan may change many times. Things may not work. If you're doing something worthwhile, it's going to fail every once in a while. It's going to fail a lot. But you need the plan. You need to think about, what am I doing? How is this going to work? Think about implementation. And we make them do this in 3 pages. What are you going to do? Why is it important? How are you going to implement it? How are you going to analyze it? All that's in 3 pages. How are you going to get to a K? That's part of the 3 pages. And so you have to really think hard about how do you put together a 3-page package and how am I going to get where I'm going. And it works. There are oversight committees. We also, this thing down below, we give 2 years of fellowship support guaranteed, but you only get the last 6 months if you submit a K application. And so, remarkably, they all do, because it's bad to be unemployed. And the great thing about this is a lot of those people that submit get it, right? And so the lesson there is, don't be waiting for a perfect application. Submit it. What are you waiting for? Get the data, write clearly, write well. Thinking is what needs to be there. The ideas, the planning, how you're going to do this, how's it going to work, what's important about it. You don't need tons of data. Then submit it. And what's the worst thing they say? Right? Oh, you need preliminary data for this thing. Right? What's the big deal? So if you have preliminary data, then you have your bread. Don't be afraid to submit. Don't wait for things to be perfect. For neurosurgeons, we set it up the same way. It's a national program, but it takes a high some of us say, I'm sure some of you have chairs that say, yeah, we love what you're doing, but we're giving you no money. And others say, we love what you're doing, and here's some money. And some give you a lot of protected time, and some give you no protected time, or little. I guess you wouldn't be here if you had none. But you need all of this. You need strong commitment. You need people to believe in you. And that just isn't talk. That's got to translate into help. Even if you get a K award that's $50,000, not a lot of clinical trial experimentation you're going to do on $50,000. You need help. They need to give it to you. We can sometimes help with that. But why not have it in the application to make it look good? So you need to, get your chairs committed to you. And of course, you need to be good and have a good idea and show them the value of them being committed to you. And you can invoke us. You're welcome to say, well, I heard from Steve and Adam and Rob. You need to be committed to me. And, have them call us and say, what are you talking about? We can talk. You need oversight. I would all have committees that are real committees. We get K awards, and we sometimes get the feeling that committees are really real and committed and involved. And you see that sometimes from the letters that show how involved people are. And you sometimes feel like there are committees that are rubber stamps. And you see that because all of their commitment letters are identical. They were written by the candidate, and they signed it, and that they have no real interest in. Oversight can be huge. Committees can be very helpful. Put together real committees that are going to be helpful and committed to you. They can also help with problems if you have disagreements with your primary mentor. And it's not an adversarial thing, it's a discussion. What's the best way to proceed? In this case, we also require interviews. It's amazing how you can learn from somebody, in 5 minutes of talking to them when they know what they're talking about. It can be worth setting this up at your home institution. Have a conversation with somebody about what you're doing and see if it makes sense to them. Do all that before you submit. So here's some data. The influence of the R25. This is the mechanism for residents and fellows in getting into a K. I've broken it down into 3 different groups: pediatric neurologists, adult neurologists, neurosurgeons. And so you can see, if you look at, just look at the applicant success rate, look at the columns. So the top group of 3 are people who went through this program. And the bottom group are the same, these are the success rates of applying for KOAs and K23s. And you can see the difference in success rates of people who were in the R25 and not. And the only difference is we were riding herd. We said, come up with a good plan. And the mentors need to get on board. And the institution, you need to provide oversight to make sure something good is happening. It's got nothing to do with the R25. The money's meaningless. Money's doing nothing but, it's giving you fellowship money to be a fellow. But all of these people that weren't in the R25 had fellowship money to be a fellow. The difference is the structure of pushing people to perform early and thoughtfully, both the candidate and the mentor. And you can see the difference in success rates. This is the R25 on time from residency to K. You can see the difference. You can just look at the all column. We broke it down into different groups, but the R25 supported and not R25 supported took 2 years off the time to K. Why did this happen? Right. Well, number one, you're planning early. Get going. Do it. Put it together. And then apply. You make them apply. Instead of waiting around another few years to apply. Just get it together and apply. And a lot of them get it. Some requires an A1. All right. Here, this is the neurosurgeon K-12. It's the same thing. It's the oversight, the preparation, the mentorship, the sort of the leaning in on our part, telling the candidates and the mentors, you've got a job 85% of the first 13 people supported have major funding after 2 years of support. Now, you know, so part of this is this discussion of preparation will get you success. But the other part of this, and I'll show you more numbers, the numbers are very high for success, right? You hear all kinds of numbers about success rates. But the fact is, everybody, pretty much, who is well prepared and goes through the process really thoughtfully and has good mentorship, succeeds in terms of getting money. This 85%, the 11 or 13, one was lost of money. One just left, and that's fine. Right? People make decisions not to keep going. And one will go. So the lessons, you know, I've sort of made this clear. The early planning, good mentors, being a good mentee, it's a two-way street. So I started talking about this in terms of communication. It's not about blame. It's not that somebody's a bad mentor. It's not that somebody's a bad mentee. Those are kind of irrelevant concepts. You need to have mentors that you communicate with on a regular basis in a meaningful conversations. And it's about you. It's not about them. It's about you. How are you going to get where you're going? You need to have a mentor that's going to help you get where you're going. Keep refining your project as you go. The more you write it, the better it's going to get. So write for these little foundation things when you can, when they're available. Write it over and over and over again. It'll get better and better and better every time you do. You need the institutional support. I said, do something important, don't always waste your time. But also, the reviewers want you to be doing something important. And it carries a lot of weight. As a clinician, when you apply for a grant, if you are helping somebody with a disease, that carries huge weight, as opposed to somebody coming in and saying, I want to know how seizures work. I want to know how the brain works. I want to know what's connected to what. When you say, I've got a patient with this disease and this research is going to teach us something about this disease, that's huge. And take advantage of it. We also have this policy at NINDS, and it's only NINDS that has this. One of the things that happened with people coming out of residency is reviewers would talk about how, wow, they had some great publications, and then all of a sudden in the last 4 years they've done nothing. And you know, everybody said, yeah, they were in residency. And the reviewers would say, yeah, they still haven't done it. And so we instituted this policy and said, you know, if they've shown they can do research, stop worrying about the post-residency publications for a while. Right? Obviously there's a time limit. We set it at 18 months. But if you've been doing research for 5 years after residency, I'll have something to show for it. But we're trying to get the reviewers not to focus on post-residency publications, focus on new ideas. And if you are doing, for example, a post-residency project that is different from something you did in prior life of yours, you don't have to publish on that project. You need a good application. You need ideas, implementation plans, and mentorship, preliminary data. You need all the stuff that goes into a good application. But you don't need to publish it. Unless so much time has gone by that people think, you know what, you should publish something. All right. Research awards, you know about this. This is the bread and butter. R01s, lots of clinical trials are done through R01s, some U01s. Apply any time after you get K. Don't think you have to wait 5 years after you get K to apply. You can apply the next cycle to get R01. Then you keep your K. The K is paying all or most of your salary, and the R01 pays for your research to pay for R01. That's not common. It usually takes a few years. Whatever you're ready to apply. There are these other awards, DP2s. Clinicians do quite well on DP2s. So the DP2, I kind of characterize it as for people whose ideas are so good and so creative they can't get it on the board. And it's a great award, and lots of clinicians get them because they have these really cool ideas about treating disease. Apply for it. It's 5 pages. There's no data. You don't get it. You don't get it. You can't, if you have an R1, you're not eligible. But, you know, if you have a good idea, a good creative idea, go for it. There are these other mechanisms. So the R21, R03, we at NINDS kind of discourage them. Lots of junior investigators apply for them because they think they're easier to get. They're not easier to get. They are, in fact, harder to get. With less money and less time. So they have a reason to exist. If it's the right mechanism, go for it. And talk to a program director about it. But do not apply for an R21 or an R03 because it's going to get. It's not. Reviewers don't sit there and say, this is a pretty crummy application, it's only $15,000, so give it to me. Right? It's just not part of the review process.
Steve?
Yeah.
They are reviewed separately during the panels. The panels say we're going to now look at all the R03s. So, and they're reminded that there's different levels of preliminary data.
Right.
So they're not looked at, they're not being graded necessarily against R01.
No, they're being rated as an R03, but they have a purpose. An R03 has a purpose. It's $50,000 for a year, right? You need a $50,000 widget. You need a $50,000 experiment before you can get a bigger grant. That's what an R03 is about. I have a need, and it's going to cost me $50,000. It's not to pursue your research. It's to do something that's going to cost $50,000. An R21, you know, it's often high risk, high reward. It can also be exploratory, but it has a purpose. It's not a little R01, right? If people think you're asking for a little R01, you're not going to get an R21. The other thing we'll talk about in a minute is this thing, this ESI bump that some of you may know about, some of you may not, that you get a beneficial payline consideration, but it only applies to R01s, not for R21s or R03s. So the R01s in essence are bigger, longer, and easier to get. Unless you have a niche project that belongs in R03 world or R21. All right, what are we getting to? All right, so policies and data. I assume you all know about ESI stats, or anybody that doesn't know what ESI is. Okay. This is the difference in pay lines over the years, and yes, each institute is different. They all have different pay lines. They all treat ESIs different. This is NINDS. The established investigators, people who had an R01, the pay lines have ranged since 2007. It was worse, it was 9th percentile. We're at the, what are we at now? Well, I don't know what we are first. We don't have a pay line next year. But we've been around 15, 16 for the last couple of years. We went down to 12 one year because we had no idea what the budget was going to be. You know, it's been around 14, 16 for a few years. The ESI pay lines have been 10 points higher. So, just to give you a frame of reference of what this means, single digit science is going to die, right? It's just not tenable to live in a single digit pay line for a moment. It's just too hard. 14 to 16 used to be thought it was horrible. Now it's not so bad. We've been living there for a long time, got used to it. It's not bad, right? 25, the ESI plus 10, 25th percentile. If you can't come into the 25th percentile every once in a while, then you may be in the wrong business. 25th percentile is fantastic. And it doesn't mean, you're not supposed to get a grant every time you apply. It doesn't mean that only 25% of people get funded. It's just any given cycle, 25% should get funded. But you should be able to come in at 25th percentile. So it's the difference between difficult and you want to get that. So take advantage of it. This is
Just that one question. In the distinction of new investigator versus ESI, or the 10-point bump, is it the same for both ESI or NINDS?
No, so it used to be. So what happened is this started out as a new investigator thing. A new investigator is somebody who's never had an NIH grant. So you can have been doing research for 122 years, and you could be a new investigator. investigator. And so then they made the ESI designation, which is 10 years from career for clinical training. And it used to be that the policies applied to NIs and ESIs, and slowly over the years, at least at NINDS, almost all the benefits go to ESIs. People, a case can be made, at NINDS, a case can be made for an NI on an individual basis, but also the benefits go to ESIs. This is an effect on what the real effect was back when it was done. So this ESI thing went into effect in 2007. We looked at the time from the start of the K award to an R01, immediately before and immediately after this change in pay line thing happened. And it took about 2 years off the time to run. And I can't show you the data or calculations because it was kind of fuzzy calculations. But my conclusion from it is that even though you're paying people at a higher pay line, it wasn't that it's not a question of people getting funded who would otherwise not be funded. It looked like the same people who should be funded were always funded, and will be funded. It's just that it was happening more quickly. So, I don't know whether that was clear or not. I forget if it wasn't. But it has taken the time off. And you can see what the numbers came down. It came down to 5 years. K is 5 years long, and the average time from K to R01 is 5 years. It kind of works. As opposed to being 6.5 years, you got to figure out how you're going to support yourself for a year and a half when you're getting R01. All right, so I'm going to show you a bunch of success rates. I'm going to show you a lot of numbers, and it really is to make you feel good. So you're all going to feel good, right? Promise me right now you feel good. Right? That's what these numbers are supposed to show you. I want to point out that I'm going to show you some application success rates. That's awards per application. And applicant success rates, that's award per applicant. I personally don't care how many tries it takes you to get it right. All I care is that you get it. So I live in an applicant. I care about applicant success rate. Okay. You're not all going to get it the first time. Right? Join the club. It's actually a badge of honor not to get it the first time. People really hate when people get every single grant application. You will not have friends. Yeah. Here's the case success rates, application success rates. This is NIH-wide, over time. And I show this for one reason. 2003 was the end of the doubling. NIH was awash of money. Anybody who asked got money. And they were the success rates for the case. 2008 was the bottom of the valley. Right? The country was in despair. Couldn't get gas, couldn't get food. Everybody's moping around. And the pay line stayed pretty much the same for Ks. Because even though the R01 pay line went down to 9%, 7% in some institutes, NIH said we need to keep clinician scientists in mind. So this was pretty much untouched. And then you climb out of the valley 2008, 9, 10, and it stayed pretty much the same. And here we are in 2018, those are the latest numbers we have in NIH. And it's pretty much the same. Right? NIH recognizes the need for clinician scientists. The success rates have stayed the same. There are times are good, times are bad, times are in the middle. Those are the success rates. It's not worse now than it was 20 years ago. It's exactly the same. Here are NINDS applicant success rates. Now you see those numbers are kind of the same. We're pretty stringent. So the applicant success rates are hanging out in the 40 to 50% range for case. Okay, it's a little bit lower. It's gone down. And I'll tell you, the last couple of years have not been good for case. And that's not the lack of money. Right? NINDS, and this is only NINDS, I'm speaking of, funds every single K that it thinks should be funded. That's based on peer review and the second level review. People look at these Ks and say, should this person be funded to do this work? And if the answer is yes, you get paid. There's no budgetary restriction on Ks in any case. Now, if we got thousands of great Ks, there would be a budgetary restriction, but we don't. We get Ks with lots of problems in them, and almost all of them are avoidable. It's not that the bar is too high, it's that the applications just aren't good enough to say, yeah, here's some good numbers. And so it's really in your hands. And these 40% numbers aren't really meaningful. And I say this, and it seems like a silly thing to hear, but it's true. If you write a really good application, your chances of success are 100%. And if you write a bad one, your chance of success is 0%. So it's not a lottery. It's not, what are my chances of getting funded? Your chance of getting funded are 100% with a good one and 0% with a bad one. Right? And the bar is high, but it's achievable. And lots of the problems in Ks are of the applicants making. Right? The only thing that should be hard about K application is the research. Doing good research is hard. Ks fall in all kinds of other reasons: career development, mentorship, institutional commitment. It's all kinds of reasons. Poorly written. All kinds of reasons they fail. All of it's in your hands, except the research. The research is the tough one. So write a good one. This is serious business. You need to write a good one. And you need help. You're not going to do that by yourself. You need help from people who know how to do it. In case you think you need to wait for the second submission to get funded, here are the numbers that get funded on the first submission and the resubmission. Lots of them go out the first time. K-23s are tougher. It's harder to do work with people than in a cell culture dish or with an animal. So it's a little harder to get the research right. And so it takes a little revision more. But still, you write a good one the first time, you get it the first time. And that's our preference. Right? We don't want you wasting your time. Show what the year preference to. Write a good one the first time. These are R1 application success rates, and I've put these up here, number one, just for your interest, and this has always been true. It's a new application or renewal. Renewals have a much higher success rate. That's been true since NIH went into existence, because you were given money. If you did something good with it, it gives you a leg up for getting more money. If you're new, people have more doubt about whether this is going to turn into something. The reason I show it to you, these are application success rates, like 21% for NINDS, when the pay line is at 15th percentile. Okay, so this percentile is not a percent success rate. It's, it's just much more complicated. And I don't want to spend the time going into it. You can't. But anyway, about a fifth of the brain scan. All right, here's something I think you'll find important. Once you get a K, what's the chance that you're going to get an R1? Right? How many people transition to an R1? So here are the different groups again, and there are other groups. We just happen to be dealing with these recently. If you look at the applicant success rate, this last column, numbers are in the ballpark of 70% of Ks get an R1. 70%. The pay line is 15%. The ESI pay line is 25th-ish percentile. And the number of people number of clinicians on Ks getting an R1 is 70%. You get a K, you're going to make, I'm going to show you a little more data. The trick is getting to the K. Get yourself in a position to get the K. Now I told you, we fund every single K we think should be funded. Just write a good one. Good project, good mentorship, good institutional commitment, good career development plan. Just write a good one. And then you get the K, and then here's the likelihood you're going to get an R. Or a U. It's kind of the same thing. In fact, we usually do all of these. Okay. We had done this a while ago. This is old data, but there are Ks that are not getting our homeworks. And we 2012 went out and looked them all up and found out where they were being funded. And 75% of them had competitive meaning outside their institution, independent funding. Okay? They have to figure that some people on case decide they don't want to do it. And some people have family, personal issues, getting paid. And some people want to be contributors to big research endeavors that they're not the PI. Right? So I look at 75% and say, this is everybody. You want to succeed, you will. Right? If you're in this room, you should have no problem. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. I don't mean no problem. It's going to be easy. But you want to pursue research, you will be able to. For funny way. Here's where people ended up that were on NINDS case. 85, 90% were in academic positions 5 to 10 years later. Almost all of them were publishing. Everybody in an academic position was publishing 5 to 10 years later. You get a K, you're in. You gotta get to the K. Getting to the K means doing what you're doing right here. Figure out how to design that great trial and get the help that you need, and just do everything right. And for that you need help. That's why this course exists, and that's why mentors exist, and that's why the CTSAs exist to help you, and that's why NINDS program directors or other institute program directors exist to help you. Take advantage of help. Do not expect to do it yourself. I'll show you this just as another number. These are the K99s. These are mostly PhDs, but 85% of them have ROs. The pay line 15%. With the ESI pay line of 25%. You write a good one, you get it. All right. Every institute is different. Every institute is different. We have our ways of doing things. Every other institute has their ways of doing things. If you want to get advice from the institute, you're going to be applying to. And don't assume you know. My favorite example, if you don't know, is we are the Stroke Institute. And we do not fund studies of clot busting, which I find kind of bizarre. But it's just NHLBI does those studies. And there's all kinds of things that make no sense. The distinctions between NINDS and aging with Alzheimer's disease. Who's doing what? I have no clue. You have to ask the program director that handles the portfolios. I have no idea what we do and what we don't. And I don't know that I've been there for almost 15 years. You can't expect to know. Right? You gotta ask. Adam's sitting back there. I go to him all the time. Is this child health or is this us? Right? Things happening in kids. I don't know. He knows. He makes it up. We all make it up. But it doesn't matter. When you get it made up from NIH, it's as good as no. All right. But they're all different, so don't ask me for advice if I'm going to mental health. You get the wrong answer. Right? You need to talk to them. Electronic submission is unforgiving. I had seen something a couple of years back that 20% of grants were sent back unreviewed because they were incomplete. It is unforgiving. The deadline comes and goes. Your institution's uploads. You don't get to upload it. So it's out of your hands. Your institution uploads the application. If they do it wrong, you can wait another 3 months. No forgiveness for anything. Reference letter doesn't come in. Your referee doesn't send in the letter on time. You can wait another 3 months. So make sure you get it done a couple of days early, and you look at it. You can look at it to make sure it's correct, because you get another chance to upload it because it's before the deadline. 5 o'clock on the day of the deadline comes by. It's not right. You wait another 3 months, and they don't finish all here. We have no control over it. This is CSR policy. We have no control. This is an old thing. I'm sure you've all heard it. But it really is true, and people don't always follow this advice. Your grant is reviewed by experts and non-experts. And what is a non-expert? I am a non-expert. I don't know what any of you do. But somebody like me could be a reviewer in that room, reading your application, and giving it a score. I need to like it. On the other hand, an expert's there knowing exactly what you're doing. That person needs to like it. Right? You're ready for both. Don't fill it with lots of acronyms to make people crazy. Make it readable, all that stuff. These people want to help you. This is not an adversarial system. They are not looking to give you a bad score. They are hoping to give you a good score. And they're going to get really irritated by irritating things. Grammatical errors, typos, figures you can't read, legends that don't match. You're dead. Don't irritate people that are doing this. They get paid $200 for the privilege of flying across the country and sitting in a room with no food to do this.
It's per day.
It's per day. That's true. So it's really more than $200. It's $400. Make them happy. Make them love you. Get somebody to read it who will hate it in advance. Give it to people who read it and they like it. That's worthless. They either didn't read it or they're lying. Your first application will be terrible. I promise you, it's terrible. There's nobody in this room that can write a great application by themselves. Right? It's terrible. Have somebody read it and hate it and tell you what's wrong with it and help you fix it. Or the reviewers will do that for you. Except they won't be as specific. They'll say, this was lousy. That'll be your comment, right? So they're better than that. But really work on this. Work hard on it. Get other people to help you. I get this a lot. Which part's the most important part? Right? Well, guess what the answer is, right? Every part is the most important part. Although the specific aims part is more important than all the most important parts. Reviewers mostly will know what score they're going to give you after this aims page. They may change after reading the rest of it. But they either love your project or hate your project by the end of the specific aims page. Get that page right. And there's lots to getting that page right. That can be a big discussion. But you got to do all this other stuff too. This, the whole rigor thing, experimental approach, statistical plan. You come in with something to do clinical work, if you don't have a power analysis, you're dead. Lack of power analysis, you're done. Right? Randomization, variables, get it all right. Don't just say, oh, I'll get a statistician to help me. Career development plan is critical. Take that as not just take a bunch of courses. Don't say you're going to take an introductory statistics course when you have a master's in clinical research. You need a really thoughtful career development. If you don't know what that is, talk to us. Talk to your mentor, talk to us. How are you going to interpret the data? Pitfalls, caveats. What does that mean? Potential pitfalls. It doesn't mean if this doesn't work, I'm going to go do something else. Right? Don't hide from the problems. What are the potential problems and what are you going to do about it? Here's one secret. Clinical trials, can you do it? Not can somebody do it. Can you do it? Can you make it work? That's why you're not going to get a K award to do a multi-center clinical trial. How are you going to do that? Do you have the money to do it? You should all be, people don't do this. The K is coming with $50,000. If your project costs more than $50,000, put in the application where the money is coming from to do the work. Make sure the person giving you the money writes a letter says, yeah, I'm giving you money. Otherwise, how are you going to do it? You need a project that's yours. It's got to be able to be okay. You need to be able to do it. You need mentoring. Did I say that? You need mentors that are on board. Boy, there are good mentors and there are not such good mentors. Don't say you're going to meet with your mentor once a month. That's the end of your application. You don't do science by meeting with your mentor once a month. Don't lie and say you're going to meet once a week when you really meet once a month. The whole point of it is to help you succeed. Schedule your mentor's time. If your mentor's not coming after you, you go after your mentors. Get on their calendar once a week. You can always cancel. But you have to see. Protect your protected time. Don't let it be stolen, and don't you steal it. Don't you be so nice you're helping everybody out with everything else and you never get time to do your research. 75% full-time professional effort, period. Don't let your division director steal it. The chair says, oh yeah, I get 75% protected time, but your division director's giving you clinical work to do. Don't let it get stolen. It's going to take a long time to write the grant. You probably figured that out in this course. It's going to take a long time to write the You know, you'll have these slides, so I'm ready to go through all of this stuff, but you really do need to address everything. Show the reviewers that you know exactly what you're doing, how you're going to do it. It's not about having the answer. You shouldn't be proposing work that you know the answer to. You should be proposing work that you know how to get the answer. And demonstrate to the reviewers that you know how to do it. All right. At the end of the day, you should have been kind of definitive. So don't build a grant up with correlations. Right? Correlations are only good for generating hypotheses. Right? Correlations means, my favorite correlation, of course, is that tall people are smarter than short people.
I heard that.
It's one of the tightest correlations there is. Right? And if you look at the whole range of people from day one to adult, tall people are smarter than short people. Correlations are the biggest. I am taller than a 6-month-old child. And so, don't fill it up with correlations. You're not going to get filled up with correlations. If you need to do them, you may need to do them, but have them lead to something. Learn something. We said this is really important to get people to help you with this grant and to hate it. Getting started on multi-center trials, this is a tough one, right? You need to somehow, either during your K, get involved, or there are ways to do it after your K, but you're not going to have the credibility to get an RLF or multi-center trial, having never done it. So you need to somehow build credibility together. There are different ways to do that. You think I shouldn't have to say don't be sloppy? One of the reasons for the success rate being what it is because of the slop that comes into it. Typographical errors, grammatical mistakes, incomplete sentences, hypotheses that are not hypotheses. I hypothesized that this would work. Really? Really, we see that. Right? Figures that can't be read, figures you have no idea what's in them, legends and don't touch figures, no white space. Not every word you write is as precious as you think it is. Right? White space is precious. These are people reading these things. Make it readable. Make them love you. Don't use a font that is so small that even classes they can't see it. They won't read it. They'll just not discuss it. Hard not to be boring and write clearly. Don't be boring. Don't put people to sleep. Don't take rejection personally. It's not about you. It's not about clinicians. It's not about neurosurgeons. It's not about that you were in Nebraska. It's not about whatever you think it's about. I won't say this to this group, but some people think it's about flies. Some people think it's about worms, and some people it is about anesthesia. But it is not about anything but that your application was flawed. The goal of reviewers is to find the best science. So just try to, you know, I say don't blame the reviewers. You can blame the reviewers initially, right? Just not on the review. Right? Get over it. We talked about that. I was in there talking about being Adam's angry too. We're at that age. You should see what we get at. Get angry. Go ahead. Get angry. Just get over it. Right? Get frustrated. Get depressed. Get it all up. Then get over it and fix it. Reviewers are usually right. They make mistakes. Persist. So we have a neurosurgeon just got an R1 on the 5th submission. We have other people submit 3 or 4K applications. You've got to stick with it. Hopefully it doesn't take you guys, but you've got to stick with it. You're not going to necessarily get it the first time, and you may get beat up, right? You may get a worse score on the second submission than the first submission. It's not fun getting beat up. It's not about you, it's about what you put in that document. Fix it, come back in. Those who persist ultimately succeed, and those who don't, obviously don't. You get unlimited submissions now, but it is not a lottery. Fix it, right? One way to get a worse score on the second submission is not to fix it based on the first critiques, right? These reviewers are working hard, and they are going to be really unhappy if you ignore them. You don't have to agree with them. You can disagree with them respectfully. I advise you not to call them idiots. But you can disagree. If they say you didn't say something and you did say something, don't come back and say, oh, I did say it. Right? Say, it's now on page 63. Right? You don't have to say it's always been on page 63. Just be nice. Be nice, right. If you read it all right, it's not a good way to get a better score. There's nobody on that panel qualified to read my application. Oh yeah, ND, how's that? Be nice, right? Be respectful. They're trying to get home. Don't get trapped by this. This is the worst thing NIH ever did. NIH has done a lot of bad things over the years, and they're going to keep doing bad things. This is one of the worst. Is they gave you the opportunity to come in 2 weeks after you get your summer stay. Come back in. You're not going to fix real problems like that, right? This was put in place to fix trivial problems. And so don't let your chair or anybody else pressure you to put it back in. Fix it first. Your score will only get worse if you don't fix the problems. And don't assume you should, but really, you shouldn't be coming in too quickly. Fix it. If you need help from us, we're happy to help you. Right? Get us up, call us up and say, I'm getting pressure to come back in quickly, but I don't know if I can do it. And, we'll tell you, you won't get funded if you do that. You go back to the chair and say, Steve said we won't get funded if I do that. And use us. We're happy to play that role. It's just, you need to be rational. Right? You need to fix things and make things good. I said this, but it's true. Just be respectful. These reviewers are working hard for you. So make nice. And if you have questions, get in touch. So we have jobs because we are there to help you. Just like every walk of life, there are more and less responsive program directors. There are institutes with more or less responsive program directors. But it's our job. And at NINDS, we take great pride in being responsive. And if you contact a program director and you don't get a response, then try again, not the next hour. Give it some time and say, I'm resending this email in case you didn't see it. And if you really can't get in touch with somebody, get in touch with me at NINDS. Get in touch with somebody else. And let me know you walk down the hall and knock on the doors and you please respond to that person. People are busy. Everybody's busy. You're all busy. We're all busy. Everybody's busy. But you should see the passion at NINDS over training. Probably some of the biggest arguments we have are over training because everybody wants to train us. And so take advantage of us. We're there to help you. Contact us by email first. It's the easiest way to get to us. Phone calls that can talk to us first. Okay, so thanks. And we can have questions or just go to lunch. there is some limit written somewhere, I believe the number, it's written differently in different places, about 5 years it says you need to get permission to apply. And at NINDS at least, I have never said no. We're not looking to keep you out. What we do want is if you've gone 5 years beyond training, we want to talk to you to see what's been going on from a point of view of helping you. So we make you check in. Yeah.
I work in an ICU and my FTE is 26 weeks a year. Does that mean that if I'm asking for 75%, I will need to work only 6 weeks a year in the unit?
No, I don't think you're going to get a K for 6 weeks work. You need a full-time appointment.
No, that is my full-time appointment. 26 weeks a year, that's my full-time appointment.
And so are you out surfing?
26 out of 52, though.
I do research for the rest of the time, but it's not.
Right, it's not about FTEs. There are people that don't have an FTE. There are institutions that there's no such thing as an FTE. It's, you need to be working at least a 9-month year, right? Nobody cares about whether it's called an FTE or not. You need to be present and working at least 9 months, hopefully 12, and 75% of your time.
So the time that I'm not in the unit, but obviously working, that counts as well.
Yeah.
Yes, it's full-time professional effort. So, yeah.
Yeah, just to answer your question, I take Christmas break, that's still part of the work, it's still part of the 52 weeks. It's not the number of weeks you're on service, it's your total year is 52 weeks. So 75% would be 12 weeks or less, and being on service is 25 days minimum. I would think 8 to 12 is probably minimum for if you're going to get a K award. But I wouldn't think of it as the number of weeks. I may do 12 weeks, I may do 26 weeks, but I have a year-long employment.
Yeah, I was just worried that people told me differently, and I was worried going down.
Yeah,
to 6
people
weeks.
make up all this stuff, and then, again, that's why the terminology that we use is 75% of full-time professional effort. We have people with VA appointments, and their official effort is at the VA, but they have an appointment at an institute. You have to have an appointment at a university, and there's zero salary with that appointment. Wow, your full-time appointment is a 12-month year, not a few weeks. Anything else?